So let me get this right. Empire wants to walk a long, arduous, tortured journey in order to just arrive at a pool of salt. Seems like an apt metaphor for this season of Foundation. Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Our Pass, and it's Friday, which is Foundation Day. And despite my very salty opening, I didn't hate this episode of Foundation. I think ultimately I liked more than I didn't like, but there was a lot I didn't like. And so let's get going on this review. So as you can imagine, it seems like as the season has gone on, I've been less able to just speak in vague terms. I'm just going to throw it out there. There will be spoilers, big spoilers about this episode. So if you don't want to know anything about the series, you don't want to know anything about this episode, go watch it now. It's season 1, episode 8, The Missing Piece. It's available on Apple TV Plus today, November 5th, 2021. It's about 55 minutes long, so it's a good long episode. It's a little bit longer than they normally are, but still within the realm of 45 minutes to an hour, which seems to be where all the Foundation episodes are. So go check it out and then come back and watch the review if you want my thoughts, or if you just want to know beforehand. Let's keep talking. So this episode focuses mostly on Brother Day, Gale, and Salvor. We don't get any Brother Dawn, which is sad because I really like the Brother Dawn storyline, but you know what? I guess we'll just have to wait, and maybe that'll be a nice treat for the next one. But in this episode, a lot of focus is on Brother Day, who is taking this pilgrimage on this faraway planet to try and, I think, kind of usurp this rebellious clan, this rebellious religious sect that is on that planet. And you also have some more of Salvor and the Anacreons on the Invictus. They're trying to get to the ship because the Anacreons revealed that they want to jump the ship, kamikaze style, into Terminus. And then you also have Gale, who is fighting with, I'll call it the ghost of Harry Seldon. It's like a data projection of Harry Seldon, but essentially it's the ghost of Harry Seldon, where he is trying to get her to do a specific set of things, and Gale doesn't want to. So you got those three main storylines. That's kind of what you explore in this episode. So let's get right into it. The first thing I wanted to point out is that they did briefly touch on why Gale can see the future, and it was a similar explanation to what I kind of thought they would say. It's like she's processing at a whole nother level, so she can interpret the math kind of fast. It's like super fast at a hyper speed, so she can then adjust based on that math. I don't love the explanation. I mean, it kind of at least grounds it back into this, like the theories of Foundation, but it also feels a little tacked on. Like, I don't really want Gale to get magic powers. That doesn't seem to be the way that this series has developed. But hey, we'll see what happens in the future. She didn't really use her superpowers anymore in this episode, so I guess they just come on randomly, or I guess it's just a more of an intuition that she feels. She doesn't normally just kind of project the future, but we'll see what happens. So things I liked about this episode. The first is the spiral. I actually really liked the setting of this spiral pilgrimage that Brother Day goes on. I liked the desolate area it was in. I liked the amount of pain that he had to go through, and I liked the camaraderie that he found when he was going through the spiral. It was really, I really loved his scene with the other pilgrim and how they kind of supported each other, and seeing the other pilgrim's faith I thought was an interesting aspect to this episode. I thought, I really liked that. And then when he finally got into the salt pool, I thought that was a really beautiful section. I thought they did a really good job there. And then the big reveal at the very end, spoilers, when they saw what his actual vision was, I thought that was a really great scene. Like, that was a really good way to end this episode. It kind of bumped the episode up in my mind because I really liked that sequence. So that the spiral was a good part. So the second thing I liked was the Invictus. I like Salvor. I think she might be my favorite character, and so I really enjoyed seeing her again kind of fight back where she could, try to beat the Anacreons when possible, and then when she kind of didn't double cross them, because she wasn't really in an alliance with them, but when she tricked them and she got into the command center, I thought that was a really cool scene. Also, I like that Salvor is taking some initiative and trying to become kind of the leader that we all know she's going to be. And the last thing I liked is the cyborg assassin, where Demerzel had to go in, and because Brother Day had ordered her to kill Zephyr Halima, and they could have done it in a clunky way. They could have done it in a kind of bigger action-oriented way, which is kind of almost what I would have thought, given how this series seems to kind of shoehorn action in. But they did it in a very touching, respectful way. I liked how much emotion that Demerzel was able to show. I liked how Zephyr Halima reacted. Like she seemed compelling in this. I like how she tried to convince Demerzel to turn against Empire, and how she tried to convince her that she has a soul and that she has her own free will. I thought that was a really beautiful scene, and the fact that they did that did restore a little bit of faith in my mind, because I could also see where she's just like, you can fight against it, and then Demerzel will be like, it's already done, and then, like, I don't know, a T-1000 knife pops out of her hand and she kills it. Like, they did it in a very touching way, and I really liked that scene as well. Things I didn't like, and you might detect a trend in the things I didn't like. The spiral, I just thought that was odd. I mean, like, I can't imagine Empire would ever do that. Get rid of his shield, get rid of his nanobots, and go and essentially, I don't know, demean himself to do this trip. It just seemed very out of character with Brother Day. I guess maybe because we learned in the last episode there are duplicates. So I guess Brother Day could think, well, if I die, then the other Brother Day will pop in and it'll be fine. So I can take this risk. But it did seem like a very weird risk, and one that I can't imagine that Empire would do, that a Cleon would do, because of just kind of their stature. Like, he is Empire, so I can't imagine he would then demean himself, or at least lower himself, to take this pilgrimage. For what? I guess to get some sort of vision. I don't know. It just seemed off. Like, look, like, if I looked like Lee Pace, I would totally agree with that scene. Like, he looked great. I mean, like, it was basically a loincloth the entire time. Like, if I looked like that, I would be out there too, just kind of flexing and strutting. But again, it didn't seem to be in line with Empire. And then I did like the touching camaraderie between the two, but the fact that he moved the guy after he died onto the side of the road when he barely had enough strength to stand. That seems like a lot of wasted strength. Empire, you gotta save your strength, get to the pool. And then we find out that the pool was like 20 feet away. It probably wasn't 20 feet away. It probably was a little longer, but it did seem like essentially after he moved that guy, he arrived at the pool. That guy feels like he could have gone and gotten the vision. It might not have been as touching of a scene, but it feels like the guy could have made it. And then you get to the pool, and you got salt water that doesn't look like it moves at all. So you just got a bunch of sweaty pilgrims that have been bathing in that, and then he jumps in. That seems kind of nasty. Like I said, I loved the scene. I thought that the scene was really beautiful, and then they needed to have a still pool so you could get that reflection of the roof. You wouldn't see that if the water was moving. So I understand that. It just didn't seem like the cleanest area. And there's one other point I'm going to touch on at the very end, but it's related to the spiral. But I'm gonna flip ahead because I want to save that point for the very end. The second thing I didn't like is the Invictus. This ship does not seem to be very well made. You've got guns that are not very accurate, even though they're essentially lasers, and you've got robots aiming. They should be more accurate than that. And then you have these doors that are the most unsecure doors I've ever seen. Like, they have all the panels exposed on the outside, and all Salvor has to do is pull it out and like tap a few things and put it back in, and it's open. Like, that is totally unsecure. And then even after she locks it, someone else can pop it out and just like essentially jam a screwdriver in, and then they get in. Like, these doors are terrible. I can't imagine this is the crown jewel of the Empire and this is their security system. This doesn't seem like a very good ship. Also, why did Salvor think that she could jump? Like, she has never done this before. She says that she's been trained her whole life, but I mean, she's just gonna rely on luck to jump across the galaxy and arrive in orbit over Terminus, possibly risking destroying everything. Like, that seemed like an extreme scene. And then when the Anacreons finally broke into the command center because that guy jammed essentially a screwdriver into the door and it opened, doesn't seem like very good security. She takes the time to shoot the gun out of the main Anacreon, the one-eyed Anacreon, and then try to shoot her. But she clearly is accurate enough. She could have just shot her initially. I don't know why she shot the gun out, and then she wasted her shot. Like, that whole sequence just seemed a little clunky. And then you finally get to the jump scene, and that jump scene, those effects they didn't look that great. I mean, this series has pretty good effects overall. That jump scene, I didn't love. It had these kind of white mist effects that kind of distorted the scene. It just didn't look at the level of quality that I expect from this series, because this series does have very good effects. And so, especially for a pivotal scene like that, I expected a little more. And the last thing I did not like is the cyborg assassin, because I didn't really get why Empire did it. I think, if I had to guess, Empire did it because He wanted to test Demerzel because she had been kind of rebelling in this sequence. She bowed to Zephyr Halima. She had seemed to be kind of finding her voice in this sequence. And I think he did it probably to make sure that she was still on his side. But it also didn't seem necessary because he had essentially bested this sect, this religious sect, and they were now bowing to him. So he had fulfilled his goal. I don't know why he then had to go kill Zephyr Halima, unless it was just to test Demerzel, but that doesn't seem like a good reason to potentially break up that challenger to Empire. Like, they were a strong challenger to Empire. He did this grueling gauntlet to get them on his side, and then he just throws it away. That didn't seem to make any sense. And then finally, the last thing, this relates back to the spiral, but this is a minor thing. I really loved that end, the scene where Brother Day is in the cave, in the pool, looking up and just seeing nothing. I thought that was a perfect way to end this episode. I really loved it. I thought it was poignant. But then they cut to him going into sleep. We knew he was going into hypersleep. So they should have just had him lying, like kneeling in the pool, kind of cowering and clutching himself, looking up, seeing nothing. Have that quote from Demerzel, which said, like, it was something along the lines of, to be in that pool and look up and see nothing, I can't even imagine that. And then fade to black. That would have been a much better way to end it. I don't know why they cut back. I still love that scene. I think it was a really fantastic way to end this episode. But cutting back just didn't seem necessary. You know what's going to happen, and it's a much more effective way to end, to just cut to black and have the credits run, because the Foundation credits are a black screen. So again, there's a lot of strange stuff with this episode. Overall, I did like it. There's enough I still like, and I think that the stories are interesting, at least. And I'm 8 episodes in. We're all 8 episodes in. We're going to keep watching. So I'll continue watching. We'll see what happens for the next 2 episodes. I'm a little nervous that we're not going to get a big resolution, but I guess we'll find out. So thanks so much for watching. And if you liked this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. And please check out my other content. I've got other reviews of all the Foundation episodes, and then other TV and movie reviews, interviews with people, unboxing videos, and weekly movie recommendations. And also, please drop comments. I love reading the comments. I try, if they're really long, sometimes I'll skim them because I don't want to know what happens in the books. And I know people have been very good about that, but I'm kind of crazy about spoilers, so I don't want to know what happens in the next few episodes. But drop comments, things I got wrong, things that you thought or you liked and didn't like. I love reading them. I love interacting. So thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you next week.